Friends, colleagues, and listeners, here we are. We've got the last panelist for the podcast, and the panelist I'm talking about is Tal Leemor, who's the VP of Marketing and Partnerships with Hoopo. And Tal, great to have you on board. Lovely to see you again, as always. And
thank you, Chris.
We've spoken with all the rest of the panelists. We've saved you till last, and then Abedin is going to do a little wrap up. Can't say much more, Tal, apart from what a great impact you and the rest of the team made in Athens on the panel. Absolutely superb, as was the feedback and follow-up thereafter. And what we've done now, I've been speaking with Abedin, and what we're doing is we're pushing now for some more practical involvement and practical outcomes in preparation for next year's conference. So each of you panelists are going to get a little bit more responsibility and workload and engagement. But before we get into that, and before that's communicated to a wider audience, what I'd like to just ask you personally is, what are personal objectives and expectations of the conference for you? Being a specialist panelist.
Well, I think that it was very important in regards to our panel was to kind of get people just, to be aware more. I mean, maybe aware is not the perfect word, but to talk more about this topic, because I think that many times it's a topic that falls in a way in between the chairs. And even though I think it's a very impactful topic when you look when you look towards the future and a bit maybe more long term, because in the end this will affect the businesses, in 10, 20 years when these young talents go in and run them in a way as well. But unfortunately, when you look in the short term, all the time there are more urgent topics in a way, to put resources in. And I think that's why it was very important to kind of to enhance and focus on this topic that wasn't talked about enough.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Totally agree. And the response, like I said, was very positive. And what we're going to do next year is we're going to put the panel on during a different slot so it gets a maximum audience. And we're also going to push and drive it, ahead of time. Now,
I think that regarding the feedback, we got great feedback after the panel, but of course I'm a little bit ambivalent about it, because first of all, like you said, there wasn't a lot of audience, but we'll work on that. But I think that we're all together also concerned in such a topic that it will become a bit businesses throwing slogans or cliches, but actually not doing enough in the organization itself.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I definitely agree. And for you on a personal note, did you feel that you had enough outcomes and solutions, or do you feel that that's now where we need to focus?
I think that in the panel, I think that myself and the different panelists did raise some ideas, practical ideas and solutions that, to be honest, it would be interesting for me first to see if anybody from the audience took any of these solutions before I can say they're not enough, because I think that in the panel, solutions were discussed on all kinds of level, on a more extended level, that is, and it takes more time and more resources, but then also, like having employee ambassadors go to universities and talk about their position. That's something that's not hard to do and can really create a connection. So I would be really intrigued, and this is one of the things that I wanted to say when we look towards next year, to kind of go and ask who did anything, like what changed,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what we've got to do now is just well, we've already spoken, as you know, and we've got a little plan which I think is going to be very effective and interesting, and we'll announce how that's working probably just after Christmas, and then we'll be looking for volunteers and supporters in companies to do exactly what you've said, which is what can be done and how effective was it and what were the outcomes, so that people have got real data to work from.
Yeah, because I think that's in the end, that's the really interesting part. I mean, the panel was great. It was an interesting and intriguing discussion, but in a way, what happened between last year and next year and what changed in the field, like how many partnerships between cargo companies and universities were created, how many, all kinds of these things. And I'd be really interesting to see and to promote it, of course.
Exactly. No, I know. And your energy is amazing. And, it crosses over when people just sit and listen to you as well. So it's a credit to you as well. Now, as far as what you personally want out of continuing with this panel and supporting the initiatives for next year, what would your personal objectives be?
I would say on them on two different sides. When you look at the industry and at the sector a bit more broadly, I would like to see the aviation sector and the cargo in particularly adopt new technologies and catch up with other sectors, because I think even we discussed that the difference between the passenger side and the cargo side in terms of adopting new technologies. And I think that this is crucial to modernize and to keep moving forward with this sector, and also to attract young talent once your organization is modernized, as we discussed in the panel as well.
Yeah.
And on a more personal note, and related to our panel and our activity, like we discussed, I would want to see, and I would want to be involved in creating this kind of template, or this kind of committee that actually brings the change into the organization from the conferences, right? So we discussed about that companies can do focus groups with their younger employees to see how they can adapt. Like, there's so many ideas, or good ideas, that I'm sure. I also have extensive background in psychology and organizational psychology. I'm sure it can make a great impact on those organizations, but it needs to be done, right? So I'd say technology, and like adopting new technologies, and the human factor, and on the other hand.
No, very, very good. Very good. I might tap into those skills that you've got there moving forward. So
with pleasure.
No, that's great. Listen, I know how important it is, for you in everything that you're doing, and we're aware of the time. And thank you for giving us so much of your precious time. Good luck, Tal, with the objectives. And again, our thoughts are with you. And we hope everything turns out for a much, much better outcome.
Thank you, Chris.
Really appreciate it, Tal. Thanks.